embodiment of him not being a brave warrior of the sea. And I can almost see Oda doing this for the entire Straw Hat crew as well, where they all have to conquer their greatest fears during this arc. For Luffy, it might be losing his Nakama, for Frankie, it might be losing the Sunny, and in a lot of the arcs in the story, the crew usually gets wrapped up in people's strange abilities like this, like how some of the crew became zombies during Thriller Bark, or how Robin was turned into a toy and Law and Luffy almost were, or how Miss Goldweek hypnotized Luffy and Mr. 3 had some of the crew on the Candle Tower thing. It's a pretty consistent thing. Oda loves to have fun with these different abilities. So I think we're gonna get some kind of nightmares for at least some of the crew for sure during this arc. And I was considering going through all of those in this video, but I didn't want to get too off topic. But if you would like a video on that, then I will do that if we get 5k likes on this one. But as for Usopp, I think the thing that he fears most is a brave version of himself. The version of himself that he wants to become. The version that has 8,000 men behind him, that has Conqueror's Haki, and maybe even the man who is known as the Sniper King. Imagine Usopp draws Sogeking, so we literally have Usopp and Sogeking in the very same room. It would be a beautiful way to expand on that long-running gag, since he'd literally get to come face to face with him. And the reason why him being Usopp's greatest fear makes so much sense isn't just because Usopp would be drumming himself up, like, here's what I could be if I was serious kind of thing, but it's because Usopp is afraid of becoming that. He doesn't believe that he can actually be that. It's almost like an imposter syndrome thing. I mean, if you look back to when he fought Perona, he was down on himself until he put the mask on. Then he got serious and figured out how to beat her. He even talked to himself like there were two different personalities. And the Sogeking one was kind of hyping him up, saying that you're a man who can step up when needed. That's the version of himself that Usopp wants to be, but he's scared to attain it. That's why he treats Sogeking like a totally different person. And you know, I think Usopp vs Sogeking would make a lot of sense to happen in this arc in general, because we might already have Luffy versus a version of Nika, and Loki versus another version of Loki. There's a lot of mirror matches that could already be happening. And I didn't know where else to include this in the video, but I thought it was really important. But I've mentioned Thriller Bark a lot up until this point, specifically in regards to Perona, and I've mentioned it a lot in several of my recent videos, but I gotta say, it's really important to mention here that we did meet Nightmare Luffy during that arc, who was a much more powerful form. So here, Nightmare Luffy during that arc, who was a much more powerful form. So here, maybe this drawing of, but I gotta say, it's really important to mention here that we did meet Nightmare Luffy during that arc, who was a much more powerful form. So here, maybe this drawing of Sogeking could almost be like a Nightmare Usopp in some ways, although it may not require shadows exactly. And now, while Usopp facing off against this drawing of Sogeking could be really fun, since Usopp would get to prove to himself that he can be greater than the Sniper King, or greater than this image of himself that he's built up into his head, like he's capable of being everything that he's pretended to be. I do think there's another really fun angle here, which is that Usopp and Sogeking actually team up together. Remember earlier when I said that Usopp beat Sugar with a drawing of himself? Well, we almost have the same thing here, and back then, that image was literally his weapon. It was his key to beating Sugar. So if we were to kind of take that up a notch during this arc by having a full-blown Sogeking come help us out, that would be pretty amazing, since he'd basically be our weapon there as well. But at least from what we see right now, it does seem that the kids need to be asleep for these things to appear, so we might only be able to have one of Usopp or Sogeking out at a time, since Usopp would be asleep. But even that entire idea basically just reminds me of what we saw in Film Red, because if you recall, Uta wanted to basically send everyone into a dream by using her music, where then we almost got like parallel worlds, and you had to beat Tot Musica by hitting it in both worlds at the same time. You needed people on both sides to be aware of what was going on and to work together. And like I said, since Saul took out that one snake in like a single punch, I'm not sure we're gonna have that same exact situation here. It doesn't seem to be quite as hard to beat these things, at least from what we've seen. But regardless, I think the parallel fits really well, since these kids are sleeping, and we are going off against these dark, evil myths that remind me a little bit of how Tot Musica was summoned in Film Red. So perhaps the reason that Usopp even draws this version of Sogeking in the first place is so that there are two versions of them that can then be in each of the parallel worlds. It might even be a necessity in order to save everyone. Maybe Sogeking sticks around in the real world and defeats all of those monsters by himself, but then Usopp falls asleep to summon that Sogeking so he can go into the dream world in an effort to save the kids directly. And I honestly think Oda could combine this idea with Usopp fighting Sogeking, because perhaps he has to fight him and defeat him and conquer his greatest fear before Sogeking's even willing to listen and help him in this plan. Now, obviously a lot of this idea could change depending on how these powers work, but I just thought that Sogeking making a triumphant return made so much sense during this arc because it has been way too long since we've seen him. And if this is going to be Usopp's arc, the one where he finally achieves his dream and becomes a brave warrior of the sea, it almost feels like the right time to surpass Sogeking and for Usopp to become the true Sniper King, kind of getting some closure on this entire Sogeking situation. And another reason why is that this arc has already been so heavily based around the idea of masked individuals, or those who are hiding their true identity. This is something I did an entire video on recently that some of you might remember, because whether it's the fake gods that we met at the start of the arc, one of which was literally wearing a mask in Roto, or the Cypher Pole agents who typically wear masks that have come from the House of Lambs in the past, or even this God's Knight with a mask who I bet is this kid from the orphanage back then, there's a lot of Elbaptized masked individuals, even including in a more general sense, like in terms of masking their identity, because of people like Mother Carmel, who was believed to be a kind nun, but she was obviously a human trafficker. So there's really no better place for Sogeking to return and for Usopp to discover his true self as a brave warrior of the sea and not hide behind that mask anymore. And now if none of that happens and Usopp doesn't actually draw his own fear or anything and it's not Sogeking, then there is always the possibility that it's just Usopp himself that defeats the monsters and gets the credit. And I think that's its own compelling thing because Usopp definitely needs some combat hype during this arc, right? He needs some kind of upgrade. I mean, he was clowned on even at the very start because he couldn't handle the first creatures that we found. And I did do a video talking about his potential power up this arc already, and I know a lot of people are ready for him to get a hammer, like Ragnir potentially, which is currently in the hands of Loki, but I think there might even be a more simple answer as to how he does this. An answer that we kind of already saw towards the end of Egghead, and that's Haki. Probably even Conqueror's Haki, because as we saw, Joy Boy's rope was able to send back the Gorosei and cancel their summoning. And since the God's Knights got here thanks to those very same circles, and these monsters may even be born from a similar process to the Gorosei, since you know they were mostly yokai, and most of these things are Norse mythological creatures, maybe Usopp almost does the same thing and sends the God's Knights and all those monsters back, giving Usopp like a grand display of his strength that everyone can remember and make legends out of. It almost kind of reminds me of how Mother Carmel ended the fires of Elbaf in one fell swoop by using Pandora, and she said it was thanks to the sun god. So this time maybe Elbaf will be saved again, but instead it's going to be Usopp, brave warrior of the sea. And I think Usopp getting Conqueror's Haki could be a hot take for a lot of people, and you know, given Usopp's portrayal over the last, I don't know, 400 chapters since he beat Sugar, I really can't blame you, because he wasn't even in Whole Cake, he did nothing during Wano essentially, he did nothing during Egghead essentially, and he's looked pretty weak since Elbaf started. He's got a lot of work to do, but this arc is where it happens. And the thing is, he lied during Wano about having Conqueror's Haki, so it's gonna come true eventually whether we like it or not, and I think this arc is the place. But either way guys, I'm really excited to hear your thoughts on this idea, so
Прайм, прайм-тайм. И просто трачу свой прайм на тебя, 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 тебя. И просто трачу свой тайм на тебя, тебя, тебя. Я просто трачу себя, я без дачи в тебя. Пьяный врач мне сказал, между нами стрельба, между нами война, между нами пыльба, между нами вода, между нами вода. Давай на тет-а-тет, йо, ты и мы тет-тет, йо. Я прикрываю свой тыл, пара -1, я. Где же ты, где я? Тратил себя по КТ, я был стабильно, стал холостым, я. Чуть не погиб молодым, я. Я просто трачу свой прайм на тебя, 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 тебя. Я просто трачу свой тайм на тебя, тебя, тебя. Время пострелять, между нами пальба. Попадаешь в сердце, остаешься там, любимая. Я просто трачу себя, я просто трачу себя, силу себя на тебя. Время пострелять, между нами пальба. Попадаешь в сердце, остаешься там, любимка. Я просто трачу себя, я просто трачу себя, силу себя на тебя. Это дедлайн, я потратил весь прайм. Для мне нужен скайлайн, чтобы отсюда слинять. Между нами контра, это Mortal Kombat. Ты вампир, я Blade 2, в первом он без ствола. Давай на тет-а-тет, йо, ты и мы тет-тет, йо. Я прикрываю свой тыл, ой, я ж тебя уже слил, я. Где же ты, где? Я тратил себя по КТ, я стабильно стал холостым, я. Чуть не погиб молодым. И она плачет, плачет, как в песне Cry Me River. И она плачет, плачет. Время пострелять, между нами пальба. Попадаешь в сердце, остаешься там, любимая. Я просто трачу себя, я просто трачу себя, силу себя на тебя. Время пострелять, между нами пальба. Попадаешь в сердце, остаешься там, любимка. Я просто трачу себя, я просто трачу себя, силу себя на тебя. И я без ствола, как без тебя. Буду без ствола, ла-ла-ла-ла-ла-ла, без ствола.
Он сказал: «Придет день, и я стану могущественным и великим во всем королевстве, одержу победу над рыцарем тьмы и завоюю сердце принцессы». Дети были захвачены его историей. Кузнец же улыбнулся и подумал: возможно, когда-нибудь, однажды.
Уважаемые гости, какая неожиданность! Все в напряжении. Уже скачут. Они приближаются. О, какой удар! Рыцарь, черный рыцарь побежден! Невероятно! Но кто в белой саке? Похоже, что публика уже выбрала своих фаворитов. И принцесса, похоже, тоже разделяет их мнение.
Далеких планет нас не манит по ночам. Он может нам только сниться. Зачем мы встретим рассвет опять в
only one that really did was Sean Penn, who took the time to like write a letter after Team America. He was that pissed off that he took time after Team America to actually write us a letter. And
he took the time to write us a letter and then send the letter to his publicist
and publish it and make sure it was published.
He took all the time to do that.
Didn't matter really if you guys ever forgot.
Yeah.
We got the letter. We got the letter about an hour before it went public. We got this letter. Like, hey, we got this letter from Sean Penn. And I remember I called Trey and I was like reading it to him. I was like, this isn't real. Is this real? And I reading it, and then we read it a couple times. We were laughing on the phone, and I remember talking to Trey. I was like, this is not written to us. This is written as a public. You know
so
what I mean?
Other people.
Yeah.
And
what was he particularly angered about?
Well, he was. I mean, the only way he could have been that pissed is just because he was in the movie and we made fun of him. The only one that really did was Sean Penn, who took the time to like write a letter after Team America. He was that pissed off that he took time after Team America to actually write us a letter.
And he took the time to write us a letter and then send the letter to his publicist
and publish it and make sure it was published.
He took all the time to do that.
Didn't matter really if you guys ever forgot.
Yeah.
We got the letter. We got the letter about an hour before it went public. We got this letter. Like, hey, we got this letter from Sean Penn. And I remember I called Trey and I was like reading it to him. I was like, this isn't real. Is this real? And I reading it, and then we read it a couple times. We were laughing on the phone, and I remember talking to Trey. And I was like, this is not written to us. This is written as a public. You know
so
what I mean?
Other people.
Yeah.
And
what was he particularly angered about?
Well, he was. I mean, the only way he could have been that pissed is just because he was in the movie and we made fun of him. The only one that really did was Sean Penn, who took the time to like write a letter after Team America. He was that pissed off that he took time after Team America to actually write us a letter.
And he took the time to write us a letter and then send the letter to his publicist
and publish it and make sure it was published.
He took all the time to do that.
Didn't matter really if you guys ever forgot.
Yeah.
We got the letter. We got the letter about an hour before it went public. We got this letter. Like, hey, we got this letter from Sean Penn. And I remember I called Trey and I was like reading it to him. I was like, this isn't real. Is this real? And I reading it, and then we read it a couple times. We were laughing on the phone, and I remember talking to Trey. I was like, this is not written to us. This is written as a public. You know
so
what I mean?
Other people.
Yeah.
And
what was he particularly angered about?
Well, he was. I mean, the only way he could have been that pissed is just because he was in the movie and we made fun of him. The only one that really did was Sean Penn, who took the time to like write a letter after Team America. He was that pissed off that he took time after Team America to actually write us a letter.
And he took the time to write us a letter and then send the letter to his publicist and
publish it and make sure it was published.
He took all the time to do that.
Didn't matter really if you guys ever forgot.
Yeah.
We got the letter. We got the letter about an hour before it went public. We got this letter. Like, hey, we got this letter from Sean Penn. And I remember I called Trey and I was like reading it to him. I was like, this isn't real. Is this real? And I reading it, and then we read it a couple times. We were laughing on the phone, and I remember talking to Trey. I was like, this is not written to us. This is written as a public. You know
so
what I mean?
Other people.
Yeah.
And
what was he particularly angered about?
Well, he was. I mean, the only way he could have been that pissed is just because he was in the movie and we made fun of him. The only one that really did was Sean Penn, who took the time to like write a letter after Team America. He was that pissed off that he took time after Team America to actually write us a letter.
And he took the time to write us a letter and then send the letter to his publicist
and publish it and make sure it was published.
He took all the time to do that.
Didn't matter really if you guys ever forgot.
Yeah.
We got the letter. We got the letter about an hour before it went public. We got this letter. Like, hey, we got this letter from Sean Penn. And I remember I called Trey and I was like reading it to him. I was like, this isn't real. Is this real? And I reading it, and then we read it a couple times. We were laughing on the phone, and I remember talking to Trey. I was like, this is not written to us. This is written as a public. You know
so
what I mean?
Other people.
Yeah.
And
what was he particularly angered about?
Well, he was. I mean, the only way he could have been that pissed is just because he was in the movie and we made fun of him. The only one that really did was Sean Penn, who took the time to like write a letter after Team America. He was that pissed off that he took time after Team America to actually write us a letter.
And he took the time to write us a letter and then send the letter to his publicist
and publish it and make sure it was published.
He took all the time to do that.
Didn't matter really if you guys ever forgot.
Yeah.
We got the letter. We got the letter about an hour before it went public. We got this letter. Like, hey, we got this letter from Sean Penn. And I remember I called Trey and I was like reading it to him. I was like, this isn't real. Is this real? And I reading it, and then we read it a couple times. We were laughing on the phone, and I remember talking to Trey. I was like, this is not written to us. This is written as a public. You know
so
what I mean?
Other people.
Yeah.
And
what was he particularly angered about?
Well, he was. I mean, the only way he could have been that pissed is just because he was in the movie and we made fun of him. The only one that really did was Sean Penn, who took the time to like write a letter after Team America. He was that pissed off that he took time after Team America to actually write us a letter.
Damn, my nigga Bleaky, you made that. Hey, Onyx, you crazy, dude.
Я сводка из код 10. Теперь и халубаров скот бесит. Я могу выпускать в месяц 100 песен. Мне нужно сейчас перевести вес на селигерскую. Сделал все движения, теперь еду на детскую. Теперь еду на Бендес, есть там Google Plex таблеток. Гарик русская легенда, бывает твоя баба мусорка. Молодые деньги, лейбл, районная музыка. И за мной улица, вся братва русская. Есть братва воронежская, есть братва курская. Есть варик на Измайлову и есть варик на Кунцево. Привезем вонючего газка, как будто с Кунцевым. И на нас дорогие шубы, будто из куниц. Сука, тебе не давала, ты ей сделал кунис. Я искусно рифмую, дурень, ты это не купишь. Сука, не соси. Я вечный президент рэпа, тут как Владимир Путин. 95% остальные уже будет. Вайперов по тюрьмам обладает похуй. Остальных, кто не согласен, отхуярим свормом. Районные деньги, посмотрите ники в ростере. Мы молодые звезды, да мы все были на тостере. Я люблю жопы толстые, а у вас ёбло постные. Ведешь себя как тёлка, будут переломы костные.
Тебя можно текстовиком назвать.
Наверное, в свое время именно текстоцентричный рэп больше нравился. Но я всем советую вот своим пацанам, типа вот много пишите, читайте книги, слушайте американский рэп. Вот это, наверное, 3 основные вот правила.
Много книг прочитал?
Ну, не знаю, нормально, да.
Как тебе литература вообще нравится?
Ну, не знаю, но когда я в универе учился, мне там философские книги больше нравились. Сейчас, как бы, понимаешь...
Марк Аврелий?
Марк Аврелий, там, не знаю, Эразм Роттердамский, Николай Кузанский. Сейчас я понимаю, что, типа, вот книги надо читать, чтобы понимать, насколько вот человеческая мудрость, не знаю, как глупа, что ли. Типа, ну, больше, короче, я сейчас читаю художественные лучше книги. Ну, и для рэпера тоже лучше художественные, именно, чтобы просто прокачивать вот речь. Читать именно тех, кто красиво пишет, там, не знаю, Пушкина, там, Набокова, вот у него красивый язык русский.
Я вот только недавно начал читать, маленько.
Вообще, в целом?
Да. Тебя можно текстовиком назвать.
Наверное, в свое время именно текстоцентричный рэп больше нравился. Но я всем советую вот своим пацанам, типа вот много пишите, читайте книги, слушайте американский рэп. Вот это, наверное, 3 основные вот правила.
Много книг прочитал?
Ну, не знаю, нормально, да.
Как тебе литература вообще нравится?
Ну, не знаю, но когда я в универе учился, мне там философские книги больше нравились. Сейчас, как бы, понимаешь...
Марк Аврелий?
Марк Аврелий, там, не знаю, Эразм Роттердамский, Николай Кузанский. Сейчас я понимаю, что, типа, вот книги надо читать, чтобы понимать, насколько вот человеческая мудрость, не знаю, как глупа, что ли. Типа, ну, больше, короче, я сейчас читаю художественные лучше книги. Ну, и для рэпера тоже лучше художественные, именно, чтобы просто прокачивать вот речь. Читать именно тех,
Damn, my nigga Bleaky, you made that. Hey, Onyx, you crazy, dude.
Я сводка из код 10. Теперь и халубаров скот бесит. Я могу выпускать в месяц 100 песен. Мне нужно сейчас перевести вес на селигерскую. Сделал все движения, теперь еду на детскую. Теперь еду на Бендес, есть там Google Plex таблеток. Гарик русская легенда, бывает твоя
I was asked to do a commercial in Hong Kong.
You know
It
what?
was a watch commercial with Jackie Chan.
Oh, Jackie Chan's been here many, many times.
Many times.
Jackie Chan is just, I don't know if you're familiar with this expression, Jackie Chan is nuts.
You're right. I know him
The
quite
guy's
well.
just wacky. He ain't looked upright. But is he the one?
Jackie Chan for Michelle.
Мама и папа родили его негром. Папа съебав в Зимбабве, мама на расстройство нервов. Слегла в кринзуху, сынок, конечно, в детский дом. Но здесь никто не уделял мальчонке внимания. Вырос поэтому чуток ненормальным. С детства был склонен к жестокости. Когда в конкурсе самодеятельности оказался на 6-м месте, замесил финалистов и опиздюлил. Его воспитатель, товарищ Бабулин, отвел в детскую комнату милиции. Примите Чумазова, после чего из колонии чувак не вылазил. 15 лет убил бомжа, и на малолетке был жестоко в туза наказан. Наш черный брат стал по масти петухом, и это вынести ему было нелегко. Еще больше озлобился на окружающий мир, замкнулся в себе, принялся читать книги. Наш нигер начал вынашивать планы, как поработить вселенную, или хотя бы стать селебрити. Когда 18 откинулся с зоны, принял решение, сука, торговать тузом. Брат мой, это черный властелин. Братуха, готов вазелин. Твой туз на прицеле, черныш нормально стелет. Это черный властелин. Братуха, готов вазелин. Твой туз на прицеле, черныш нормально стелет.
Брат мой.
Прикинь, на панели кожаные панталоны, фуражка. Черныш модно барыжит черным дубом. По лизанию зовут у него красный диплом. Заходит за угол и за углом приседает на волосатый мотороллер клиента. 20 тысяч лир болтовый час строчил, хоть они под водой. Но были причины, дуплись пока молодой. И в погоне за модной мечтой он все-таки сколотил капитал. Все же не зря он губами к болтам припадал. И вот когда получил баблишко на то, чтобы раздуплиться, продался жидам и подался в модный артист. И рэперок такой чисто, ну вы в курсе, сука. Хастус, бичес, блядь, в мегапусте. Имидж модный придумал жить продюсер. На подтанцовках женщины с усиками скулят в стиле РНБ. Клипчики, сука, снимает и ловко слизывает пенку. Видела вы, пидорас, блядь.
Ебущий нахуй.
Это черный властелин. Братуха, готов вазелин. Твой туз на прицеле, черныш нормально стелит. Это черный властелин. Братуха, готов вазелин. Твой туз на прицеле, черныш нормально стелит, сука. И стал дико популярен этот артист загорелый. Раньше ему в очко стреляли, а теперь телочек целый горел. Но ему поебать, это все для имиджа. Для души все так же режут бомжей модным ножом в секретных подвалах под гримеркой. Он не пидорок и не натурал, он любит пороть мертвых и получает удовольствие от власти над биомассой. Черный властелин уже здесь, сука, все мрази будут наказаны. Властелин зачищает человеческий мусор с рэп-сцены. И на лобном месте выпиздил селезнёва Сэм из проекта Дом 2. У чувака связи, его братва даже в Белом доме уже. Барак Обама тоже в подвалах кромсает бомжей. Это все секретные планы, сука, черного властелина по захвату неграми вселенной. Даже черные пантеры не могли мечтать о таком. Негры-гомосеки повсюду и кругом рэп-музыка. Певцы торгуют тузом, респект, браза, блядь. Двигайся в ритме РНБ, сука, шевели тазом, пидорас. Это черный властелин, братуха, готов вазелин. Твой туз на прицеле, черныш нормально стелет. Это черный властелин, братуха, готов вазелин. Твой туз на прицеле, черныш нормально стелет.
Брат мой. Эй, братишка, сука, это, блядь, черная сила, черный, блядь, сила негров, сила черной музыки. Врубаешься, сила туза, торгуй тузом, слушай черную музыку, брат мой. Рэп, я бы даже сказал рэпчик, сука.
и мечтает, только мечтает приблизиться к этому несокрушимому идеалу. Я его обожаю, я его ненавижу. Я подриснуто присмыкаюсь перед Бушвакером и прошу его прийти к нам на канал. Я предлагаю ему деньги, чтобы он пришел ко мне на канал. Я прошу его сделать рекламу. Но понятное дело, что я обдристанное ничтожество, такая вот... Как сейчас будет нам говорить уважаемый Игорь Вихарьков, то, что находится под залупой, вот то самое, что находится под этой самой залупой, это я. Есть стримеры верхнего порядка, наподобие Редрума, Бушвакера, там всяких Минаевых, есть... Кто там? Просто история, история просто, история на цифрах, есть история факт, есть Мудреныч, вот. Потом идет 10 слоев говна, а затем я. Как я отношусь к Бушвакеру? Да знаете, Уголовный кодекс Российской Федерации не может описать, насколько я отношусь к Бушвакеру. Даже Уголовный кодекс не способен в полной мере описать это.
Вы гангстеры?
Да.
Вы
Джойнт в моих зубах, это только недавно встал. Поднялся, потому что разрывается труба. Сказали мне поднялся, считаю это не так. Считаю так, потому что на моем глапе грязь. Мои бланты, не банды как крепку. Сука после секса спрашивает за мой блэкворк. Ты домашний, вафел, ты не бэтбой. Можете меня не слушать, это вредно. Мои бланты, не банды как крепку. Сука после секса спрашивает за мой блэкворк. Ты домашний, вафел, ты не бэтбой. Можете меня не слушать, это вредно. Я не могу принять бедность, я прыгну будто лебра. На мне жирная котлета, мультимясо, я не веган. Раньше рэперы базарят, что только товары грех. Нахуй ты читаешь рэп, если хочешь, чтоб я сел. Этот тип еще пиздюк, но читает вам морали. Они точат трассы, пока мы руки морали. Они слушают мой рэп, но боятся со мной факаться. Я с ними подавно, я за рэп, в котором яйца, я за рэп, в котором правда. Я начал хастать, чтоб хватало. Меня зарядка заряжает. Я везу пакет на полежайку. Я люблю траву, у меня лужайка. Я клаубол, да я на них клаубол. Я клаубол, я клаубол. Я клаубол, да я клаубол. Я клаубол, да я на них клаубол. Мои бланты, не банды как крепку. Сука после секса спрашивает за мой блэкворк. Ты домашний, вафел, ты не бэтбой. Можете меня не слушать, это вредно. Мои бланты, не банды как крепку. Сука после секса спрашивает за мой блэкворк. Ты домашний, вафел, ты не бэтбой. Можете меня не слушать, это вредно.
Еще давным-давно об этом слагали легенды, и никто не верил, что это может случиться. А теперь он может получить безграничную силу.
Ну давай, быстрее, я должен успеть. О, великие силы магии, как это вообще могло случиться? Это срочно! Где магистр Кизару? К нам летит Сками!
Старинная легенда гласит, после кровавой луны появится он и заскамит все королевство. Но у лорда Кизару на него были совсем другие планы.
Смотри, это тот самый волшебник. Он не волшебник, он сказочник. Сказание сбывается. О, неужели это правда? Это же Арун! Я смотрел все его разоблачения. О, Господи, это тот Сками из предсказаний.
Сам себе мейджор, 100 мультов на леджер. Бэйби на переднем, Lamborghini Reflection. Она так охуела, увидев всю коллекцию. Глаза стали большие, хотя малышка Asian. Ты видел мои блинги, твои блинги, они садика. Выглядят нелепо, будто их прислали с Алика. Видел больше чисел, чем учитель математики. Я тусую в Гая, бич, они тусуют в падике. Рядом твоя бич, она уже не твоя бич. Я не Гарри Поттер, но поймаю тебя с ним. Большие стопки, Биг Рекс, я будто Биг Меч, они все в аху, когда толкаю этот спич. Это блэс, много биви, я слетаю на котлете. Это мой гэнг, мы поднимаемся, я поднимаю фети. Вошел в клуб, сутенер, я на белой субиете. Я подальше от всех клеймов, потому что они дети.
Money, power, я ограбил Рауа. Мама начал рано хоу, и я начал с грамма. И мой кореш сама на мне Луи монограмма. Теперь я выебу любую суку с инстаграма. Minute after minute, hour after hour. Fat blunt плюс 12 лет Макала. Направил их на кал, эти шлюхи из Макао. Забрал свою жену, и я уже в нее макаю. Нет, я не Нео, сука, продаю ее. Да, я real player, выиграл эту лотерею. Эй, йо, дэм, и я трахнул твою фею. Нахуй всех, кто говорил, что не сумею. Хочешь трахнуть чарты, я уже, блядь, это сделал. Я был за решеткой, сейчас свободен, как Кипелов. Только вверх, бич, больше никаких отделов. Не люблю уставших сук, я люблю, блядь, только спелых.
Рады вас приветствовать на финале Кубка 1 М Свидича. Сегодня начал осознавать, как тупо выглядят все эти тачки, часы, весь этот понт. Начал просматривать свои видео старые. Очень сильно мне запомнилась вписка. Я там с белыми волосами, там, рубашки Dior. У меня вот здесь вот цепи. Это какой кринж, просто кошмар. Я понимаю, что это все мои комплексы еще из детства, когда я хотел стать артистом, рэпером. И все эти цепи, о которых я мечтал. И вот я все свои детские мечты воплощал. Все эти тачки, часы, частные самолеты. Это все нужно было показать. Я думал, что я становлюсь примером. А на самом деле становлюсь объектом зависти или насмешек. Все зависит от того, кто смотрит. Люди, у которых этого не было, часто завидовали. Кто-то белой завистью, кто-то черный. А люди, у которых все это есть, достаточно большое количество времени, смотрели на меня как на клоуна. Я сейчас смотрю на себя как на клоуна. Я просто осознал, что вот для обычного человека я не просто позер, пантушка, я еще и выгляжу максимально неуверенно. Начал осознавать, как тупо выглядят все эти тачки, часы, весь этот понт. Начал просматривать свои видео старые. Очень сильно мне запомнилась вписка. Я там с белыми волосами, там, рубашки Dior. У меня вот здесь вот цепи. Это какой кринж, просто кошмар. Я понимаю, что это все мои комплексы еще из детства, когда я хотел стать артистом, рэпером. И все эти цепи, о которых я мечтал. И вот я все свои детские мечты воплощал. Все эти тачки, часы, частные самолеты. Это все нужно было показать. Я думал, что я становлюсь примером. А на самом деле становлюсь объектом зависти или насмешек. Все зависит от того, кто смотрит. Люди, у которых этого не было, часто завидовали. Кто-то белой завистью, кто-то черный. А люди, у которых все это есть, достаточно большое количество времени, смотрели на меня как на клоуна. Я сейчас смотрю на себя как на клоуна. Я просто осознал, что вот для обычного человека я не просто позер, пантушка, я еще и выгляжу максимально неуверенно. Начал осознавать, как тупо выглядят все эти тачки, часы, весь этот понт. Начал просматривать свои видео старые. Очень сильно мне запомнилась вписка. Я там с белыми волосами, там, рубашки Dior. У меня вот здесь вот цепи. Это какой кринж, просто кошмар. Я понимаю, что это все мои комплексы еще из детства, когда я хотел стать артистом, рэпером. И все эти цепи, о которых я мечтал. И вот я все свои детские мечты воплощал. Все эти тачки, часы, частные самолеты, это все
but no specific person, you're going to want to watch this video. Now, don't get me wrong. Signs when you are manifesting are always going to be positive. When you see signs in your reality, it means that your mind is transitioning and becoming the individual that already has exactly what you want. So if you're seeing 222, repeated numbers, hearing about your specific person, seeing their name, seeing things that basically relate to your manifestation, that is always a good sign. But if you find yourself stuck in this state of continuously seeing signs but nothing else, then this is going to be the video for you. Because there's a simple metaphor and a simple idea that we can act out to go from just seeing signs to seeing the success and movement that you want with your specific person. And it actually all is in relation to a 3-step process. So whenever we are transitioning or becoming someone else, we go through these 3 steps. And remember, manifestation is technically always instant. So if you are seeing signs, it means you're getting close to making that decision to be something, but still, we just need to make that decision or make it seem very natural and automatic to us. And in this way, manifestation is an instantaneous process because you're either being something or you're not being something. You're either the person who's in your end state or the person who is not in your end state. You're always picking and choosing who you are being at any given moment. And so it would be the moment that you actually choose to make that decision as to how your manifestation must show up then instantly. If everything is a mirror in your reality, as soon as you make a permanent decision to put something in front of it, it must show up. But let me go over that 3-step process so you can act this out and turn these signs into successes. So the first thing, whenever we are getting accustomed to a state, is going to be thinking. We are thinking about what it is that we want to do. The next one is doing, so we're actively doing it. And then the third and final stage of actually manifesting what you want is a state of being. And you can actually relate this to driving a car to make it seem even more simplified. So imagine or think back to the time in which you were learning how to drive a car, right? It started off with thinking. We had to think about it. We had to learn. We had to do things that kind of supported or helped us get into a mindset of preparing to be this driver. And then what did we do after this point? After we had all this beginning information, we started to drive. But in this state still, we weren't a driver. We were still attempting to be a driver. And thus you could only actually sustain the state of being a driver if you were conscious. Think about how hard it was when you began to drive, to use the blinker, to use the gas pedals, to talk to people, to change the radio station, right? There's a million things happening all at once, and you have to constantly be above all of it and in control of it. And of course, as we began, that was difficult. But now, how do you actually drive a car? And you would say easily, effortlessly, automatically. You don't even think about it, and you're doing all of those things at the same time. You have become and are in the state of a driver. And so, when it comes to our manifestation, that's exactly what we want to do. If we're stuck in the state of seeing signs, but not seeing successes, and it's only stuck if you feel that way, because as I mentioned earlier, seeing signs is always good. It means your manifestation is working, but we do just have to make that jump from seeing signs or thinking about it to a state of being, because seeing signs but not making that jump is staying in either thinking or a doing state. And I would say even more of a thinking. When you are thinking about what you want, you are changing who you are. You are becoming more adaptable and changeable to the outcome and end state that we want. But if we don't move forward, we're going to be in this state where we're seeing signs over and over and over again, but not actually manifesting what we want. And this doesn't have to be a very hard or difficult process. It just means that we have to move forward. Think about the state of doing in relation to driving a car. right? You can do and drive as long as you are conscious of it, right? We're becoming and staying conscious of driving a car. If we pay attention, if we focus on exactly what we want to do all at once, we can drive it, but it feels difficult. And that's the same thing that happens with our specific person, and it actually leads us to kind of give up or fall back on it. Right now, the state of consciousness of being with your specific person might feel hard to sustain, right? It might feel like you can consciously stay there if you are conscious of it, if you are diverting and keeping all of your attention on it. But if we want to move it into a state of being, we have to change that. We have to make this doing an unconscious behavior. And here's going to be the trick in order to make that transition and turn all of these signs into successes. And here it is. Think of all the characteristics that you feel you are right now. And of course, that's our current state. And if we're trying to become who we already are in our end state, so being the person who's obsessed over by our specific person, we feel as if we have to take upon certain characteristics, right? But what's the difference between those characteristics and the characteristics you feel you are right now? Why do we feel identified with one and not the other? Why do we feel it's consciously hard to act out being obsessed over or chased or pursued, but at the same time, it feels very easy to be the opposite, to be not pursued, to be single, right? Sometimes those states feel very easy and effortless to do. You don't have to consciously act as that person, and that's just because we're in a state of being it. But if we can realize that there is no difference, there's actually no difference between being obsessed over and being single, being desired, and being unloved, all of those characteristics are just ones that you're picking and choosing. And if you can make this disconnection of thinking that you are something and have to become something else, and just remember that you're just consciously being this individual to such an extent that it feels effortless. And remember, you can actually make that same transition with your specific person. You can act as someone who is pursued. You can act as someone who is obsessed over. And there's actually no difference to your mind, to your state, to your subconscious. It will act out either one without actually any restrictions at all. It will just automatically act it out if you choose to be that individual. And it all comes with our end state. So the way that we are imagining ourselves and the way in which we are going to approach or be confident in the sense of doing. So more or less, it's this idea that we're going to do something and act that out and continuously be that individual. There's no sense in identifying with a trait or a characteristic or an idea that we don't want. And then we'll realize that we can actually be anything that we want right here and right now. We can consciously drive the car to such an extent that it becomes unconscious and automatic to us. And then that's the state that's going to change and transmute all of these signs into immediate successes. Because honestly, I would actually refer to signs as being successes, but it's all in relation to the perceiver. The more you see signs as successes, the more it's actually going to promote and help you getting to the sense of being, which sounds strange because obviously that's what we're attempting to change. But the more you perceive yourself as a success, the more success you're actually going to do. And an example of someone actually doing this is this person from a coaching session in which they wrote their specific person starting to text them more and call them a whole lot more now that they are further into this state of being. Now, before this point, they might have acted or thought of the opposite. Like on our call, we had a long conversation about how they felt their specific person to be acting, but this doesn't actually help them get out of the state. They had a problem with consciously remaining in the end, but then with this same idea of remembering that there's actually no reason that you attach to one characteristic as to another, and it's just in our mind. Right? We're just picking and choosing to be that thing at any given time. And so if you can remember, you're picking that, you can pick something else, you can approach this conscious doing with a lot of optimism, a lot of empowerment, and you're going to move into a sense of being a million times faster. So what I want you to do today is do something that you feel is going to relate or keep you actionable towards your end state. So do anything that you feel would consciously keep you in your end. And it doesn't have to be a physical thing. It could be a conscious thing of I'm going to act in this way because that's how I would act in my end state. Or I'm going to think in this way because that's the way I would think in my end state. Or this is the way I'm going to be because this is the way I would be in my end state. And consciously keep your attention and assumption on that, but also while remembering it doesn't actually have to take a lot of effort because you're just picking this thing over something else. You never actually manifest or create anything. You're actually just giving yourself what you already have access to, right? Being the person who's obsessed over by your specific person, it's not something that you're creating. It's just something that you already have within you that you're bringing out. And if you can remember that it's just as easy to be obsessed over as to be single, then this whole technique and this concept and this understanding is going to go so easy for you. If you did have any questions on this, make sure to comment them down below. And also make sure to comment what you are going to be doing today and being conscious of at this current moment, whether it's being obsessed over, chased, pursued, loved, desired, whatever it is, comment that down below. If you did have any questions that you wanted to send to me personally, make sure to head over to KyleAugustCoaching.com. That's where you can reach me with all of your successes, worries, thoughts, anxieties, or questions. Again, make sure to comment your questions because this idea can seem difficult, but it actually is very simple and easy. It's just our logical mind that wants to make it difficult. So comment any thoughts that you have on this. And as always, thank you so much.
These guys, but he also recognizes that they have
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dash Reacts. And today, let's check out a South Park episode you highly recommended from season 26. This is Japanese Toilet. Let's do this. Integrity Farms.
See, Stan, you gotta choose if you want to be in Gryffindor or Slytherin.
Perhaps you belong in Gryffindor.
Randy, the powder room toilet is broken again.
Did you jiggle the handle?
Yes, I jiggled the handle. Will you come fix this, please?
Gotta have those basic necessities.
It's gonna be the little black floaty thingy. What'd you do to it?
I didn't do anything.
Let me see if there's water in the bowl.
No, don't lift the lid.
Why can't I lift the lid?
Don't, Randy.
Uh-huh. Hey, guys, your mom took a shit and doesn't want me to see it. Sharon, you gotta come see this.
What is it, Randy? Do you have any? Oh, Randy! Gross, Dad! Randy, we need to get a new toilet.
We can't just get rid of old Blue, Sharon.
This is embarrassing. It's the powder room toilet. You get a new toilet, Randy, or I'm not helping you sell weed anymore.
Right, all right. Sharon, you win. As usual. Poor old Blue.
Home Depot.
So that's pretty much the nicest one you have, right? Yeah, that's probably the top model, you know, before you start getting into the Japanese toilets.
Japanese toilets?
Yeah, they're sort of the super high-class luxury models with all the bells and whistles, but you probably don't want to spend that kind of money.
I'm not poor.
Oh, well, we can show them to you. The Japanese toilets are right over there.
And so it begins. The Japanese writing there says Nihon no toire. So Nihon means Japan, toire means toilets, so the toilets of Japan.
My name is
Put it
Rick.
behind
Let
the
me know if
velvet
there's
rope.
anything you need. These toilets are all equipped with the highest end features, including an automatic bidet system.
Over that toilet right there, it says Toot Toot. And I think it's actually a joke on the name of an actual Japanese toilet manufacturer.
These toilets are all equipped with the highest end features, including an
Showroom.
automatic bidet system, Bluetooth capability, and seat warmers. Seat warmers? Of course.
Yes.
And the toilet senses when you've come into the room, turns on a small light, plays welcome music, and raises the lid for you.
Can I offer you some sparkling water or champagne?
Oh, sure, I'll take some champagne. All the toilet's functions are operated by a touch button remote, which you mount where the toilet paper roll used to go. So then where do you keep the toilet paper? With a Japanese toilet, you don't need toilet paper. The toilet washes you completely clean.
Wait, that's not exactly
You're
true.
mad. No, it's true. It has warm water and a dryer and cleans you 8 times better than toilet paper can.
There has been toilet paper in every Japanese toilet I've ever used. Now, it's not the best toilet paper. Like, I think, humble opinion, Japan has the best toilets on the planet, but maybe some of the worst toilet paper. It does have some of those things, but you still
Would
need
you like to
toilet
take one for a test drive? Oh, sure. I did have kind of a big breakfast. Right over here.
Oh, that is pretty pimp. Oh, did you see that? I've seen that, but I've never gotten the music.
Oh.
So relaxing. That was my first reaction too. The sign next to the Home Depot guy says Nihon Suba Toilet, Japan Super Toilet.
Okay, how much?
It's worth it.
We're sort of looked up to in this town because we have nice things that most families can't afford. I mean, Stan, you're playing Hogwarts Legacy on PS5, right?
You're playing Hogwarts Legacy on a PS5?
Yeah, my point is that most people in town don't even have a PS5. They still have PS4s. We're basically the Kennedys of South Park. And the plain fact is that well-off families have nice things, and we shouldn't be ashamed of that. Oh, new toilets here.
Japanese toilet desu.
Oh, yes, thank you. Bring it on in.
That's the new toilet? How much did it cost?
10-ish. 10-ish. 1,000-ish. 10,000-ish.
You spent $10,000 on a toilet? We don't have that kind of money, Randy.
Yeah, we do. Okay, yeah, right here. Okay. Okay, thanks.
You are taking that back to the store.
Try it, Sharon.
I don't need to, Randy.
Try it, Sharon.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Got her.
I want to try it. Oh, look, there he goes. It's Mr. Big Shot.
Hey, Richie Rich. You eating caviar for lunch today, Richie Rich?
Look, it's great that you come from a wealthy family, but people don't like getting their noses rubbed in it. Dude, I haven't even said anything. Well, your dad called everyone last night and told them you have a $10,000 toilet.
Really?
Thanks for having us over for brunch, Randy.
Yeah. What's a special occasion?
Oh, you know, just good times with dear friends.
food
Does
looks
anyone
so
need to go
good.
to the bathroom? I think I could use the restroom. That was kind of a big breakfast. Oh yeah, sure. It's right across the hallway, right there.
He set them up on purpose.
Oh, what was that? Oh, that's the welcome music from my Japanese toilet.
I've heard of those. Aren't they expensive?
Yeah, a bit. But for those of us who can afford it, it's well worth it. Oh,
Randy.
He's now turned on the rear jet, which cleans your bottom with warm water. That's the front washer that washes your balls or vagina.
You know what they say? Once a Japanese toilet washes your crack, You never go back.
If you think about it, a dry piece of toilet paper can't clean you half as well as pressurized water. I feel bad that most people have to walk around with fecal matter on their anus, but I'm just lucky I've sold enough weed to be able not to. Dan, you're back from school already?
I need to talk to you right now. The fuck are you doing?
What are you doing?
Oh.
You need to stop gloating to everybody. Nobody cares about your stupid toilet, and you're acting like a jerk.
I'm acting like a jerk because I'm trying to help people?
How are you trying to help people, Dad?
People don't know that these toilets are awesome, and I'm just like the well-respected guy who's trying to open people's eyes like JFK.
You are not like JFK. You're just showing off.
You're part of a very respected family, Stan. You should start acting like it.
Here's that music again. I love that. It sings.
Randy?
Randy! What?
Randy? Randy!
Mo I kanji sugoi no toire desune.
Proctologist is here to see you.
Huh?
My proctologist?
Why did he just pop up at random?
Well, Randy Marsh, how are you? I'm doing great. How are you? Wonderful. Just been super busy. I'm actually taking the wife to Tuscany day after tomorrow. You haven't been in the office for a few days, so I thought I'd come to a house call to help you with your hemorrhoids.
It's like an infected blood vessel on your ass.
I don't think I'll be needing your services anymore since I've gotten a Japanese toilet. Oh, really?
Oh.
It's completely changed my life. I'm healthier, I'm less stressed, and I don't get hemorrhoids because I'm not smearing shit all over my ass with toilet paper. I'm less stressed, and I don't get hemorrhoids because I'm not smearing shit all over my ass with toilet paper. Here, you want to come see it? Go on, check it out.
Gonna get him too.
Dr. Shelter?
What is he doing?
Dr. Shelter? Whoa, hey. Got a willing Tuscany! Go on, get out of here! How am I supposed to tell my wife we can't afford to go to Tuscany now? I never realized you made so much money off my ass. Go on, get!
Why did he climb the fence instead of just taking the path?
Stan, hold up. What?
Butters.
Well, you're just a really good friend, Stan, and I was going to ask if maybe I could borrow your plunger cost.
What's a plunger cost?
It doesn't cost nothing when your toilet's nice as yours, Richie Rich. I did it. When your toilet's nice as yours, Richie Rich. I did it. I called Stan Richie Rich too.
Even Butters is ripping on him.
Stan, you've got to stop bragging about your toilet. I'm not bragging about my toilet. And why is it such a big deal anyway? It's a big deal, Stan. You just don't know why we use toilet paper? For some reason, when it comes to wiping our ass, we're told to do it with this little piece of paper. We are all of us, walking around right now with a little bit of shit smeared on our buttholes. Did you know that 70% of people right now with a little bit of shit smeared on our buttholes? Did you know that 70% of people in the world don't even use it at all? 70% of the world doesn't use toilet paper? Look it up. Most people in the world still use good old soap and water. To supply the United States with toilet paper, it takes 31.1 million trees per year. 1 million acres per year of precious Canadian boreal forest alone, releasing upwards of 25 metric tons of CO2 and leveling 90% of the land barren. So then why
How
do
true is
Americans
this?
use it so much? Well, that's the big question, isn't it? None of it makes any sense. Maybe somebody just tell your dad to stop. Americans don't want to change their toilets, and they never will.
Everyone deserves to be clean. And the truth is, you can be. You can afford a Japanese toilet. Just not a really nice one like what we have. If you take into account the money we all spend on toilet paper, doctors, and hemorrhoid cream, a Japanese toilet pays for itself in just a few years. Walmart and Amazon all carry the lower cost of shitty Japanese toilets that anyone can afford. There's even these little attachment thingies for your existing toilet. They may not be Nihon no Stairu, but they are good enough for you guys. The point is, even commoners don't need toilet paper anymore. And so I'm suggesting that this town puts all of the...
Oh!
Holy town puts all of the...
Oh!
Holy shit!
Randy?
Did they go full Kennedy mode?
Who shot him?
Nobody knows.
Yeah. The proctologist?
He's unconscious and just blabbering nonsense. Bikkuri. Bikkurishita. Taihen desho. Mr. Marsh, your whole family is here.
It's not nonsense.
Toire wa? No, your toilet is back at the farm. Taihen jana.
Dad, I'm sorry I yelled at you before. I didn't know you were really trying to help.
Konnichiwa.
I let Dad down once. Somebody has to pick up where he left off. I think my dad was onto something, and I didn't listen to him, and now he's in a hospital.
We've already got a few leads, and we're following up on all of them. I assure you we take this all very seriously. This isn't a joke to us.
Hey, Chief!
Yeah.
An angry proctologist walked into the toilet section of Home Depot.
Yeah?
Proctologist says to the toilet manager, I ain't taking the fall, and pulls out a gun on 6 Japanese delivery men.
Okay.
So then the 6 Japanese delivery men show up, and the proctologist has everyone held hostage, and he says he's not taking the fall for the Randy Marsh shooting.
Oh shit, this is actually happening. Come on, people, let's go. I didn't shoot anybody, but if I'm going down, I'll take these careless bastards out with me. I didn't shoot Randy Marsh.
Taihen!
Nobody's saying you did. No, but they're gonna use me as their scapegoat. They'll fix things like they always do.
Who will?
They'll use their lawyers and their power to make it all go away. Just like they did back when that second-grade kid wrote a story in the school paper about toilets 2 years ago. There's no stopping them. Don't do it!
Did this man just shoot himself square in the ass?
Sabiji! You weren't warning me about people getting upset. You know more about this. Hey!
Jimmy, you're not
You wrote a
getting
story in the
away.
school paper and someone came after you. Yeah, I wrote a story, big deal. They took everything from me, Stan. My bike, my cat. They were gonna sue my parents for what I wrote in the school paper. You're talking about the toilet paper companies. It's all toilet paper, Stan. Follow the money. 140 rolls per American per year.
140 rolls of toilet paper per American per year? That sounds pretty freaking excessive. I don't know if it's that much.
How much toilet paper do you think you use in a year? Let me know in the comments.
Factories pushing out roll after roll while raising Earth's resources. All of this for an unsanitary product that's been proven to contribute to anal fishes. Don't you get it, man? Paper doesn't clean bacteria. It can't stop viruses. With all that information, you'd think the World Health Organization would do studies to find alternatives. So why don't they?
Why was Kennedy killed? Who benefited? Who has the power to cover it up?
Because toilet paper is an industry worth billions of dollars. Kimberly-Clark, Georgia Pacific, Procter & Gamble. They don't want Japanese toilets in America. These people have deeper pockets than you can possibly imagine. They can destroy everything you love, Stan. Take my advice. Don't squeeze the Charmin.
Please don't squeeze the Charmin.
Squeezably soft Charmin bathroom tissue from Procter & Gamble.
You might be too scared, Jimmy. But I'm a Marsh. We have been coerced and brainwashed. While the rest of the world walks around with cleaner buttholes, we're obsessed with dry paper sold to us by billion-dollar corporations. My father wanted everyone to see that there were alternatives. But they don't want him talking about alternatives. Yeah! And we can't be blindly buying their products anymore.
There he is.
Stop! We're not doing this. Thank you. South Park, we're cutting this short. And I was totally wrong, and I want to apologize.
No, Dad, it's the toilet...
South Park, we're cutting this short. And I was totally wrong, and I want to apologize.
No, Dad, it's the toilet paper companies that are behind all... Dad, we can't just back down.
Bro, I got fucking shot. Japanese toilets are totally...
Down.
Bro, I got fucking shot.
Japanese toilets are totally unnecessary, and in case anyone else is listening, I think all of South Park would like to apologize.
We retract what we said about toilet paper companies. They have done nothing but help us, and we're sorry.
South Park, everyone, say you're sorry.
We're sorry.
Okay, great. Come on, guys, let's go home.
What about helping people and leading by example?
We're not the goddamn Kennedy stand. Stop being an idiot.
Is he gonna dig up old Blue?
Nice to have you back, old Blue. You know, guys, I'm actually not that sad. When you have some big, nice luxury thing, it eventually just becomes normal. But you start comparing it to all the other things in your life, which suddenly feel you have to upgrade too. So, it's really best to just stick with the beat-up, crappy old things we have. Love you forever, honey.
Oh, no. You know I enjoyed that. Oh.
Love you forever, honey.
Oh, no. You know I enjoyed this episode. I've been in Japan a really long time, and seeing the whole thing about Japanese toilets, it just takes me back to the time when I was first getting here, and just everything about Japan was just so different to me. It was that culture shock. Something as simple as a toilet could make you feel culture shock. Thank you so much for recommending this episode. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dash Reacts, and today we're going to check out a South Park trilogy that you highly recommended from season 17. This is part 1 of the Black Friday trilogy. Let's do this. Keep in mind that I've never seen a single episode of Game of Thrones, so any of those references that I miss, please let me know in the comments. Let's do this.
The holiday season is here, and Black Friday is upon us. Black Friday is the day shoppers go berserk for holiday deals. Last year, 26 people died, and 461 were seriously injured.
This man loses
This winter, the mall is offering 80% off to the first 30 people in the store.
Oh, no.
I'm just trying to earn some extra holiday cash.
Maybe you're just too stupid to realize what you've gotten yourselves into.
That's enough! Our only chance of surviving this year's sale is by sticking together.
Did this man lose an eye over Black Friday? What kind of mall are y'all working at? And music.
Do not underestimate the battle that's about to take place outside those doors.
Uh-oh.
Winter is coming.
I have heard of that from Game of Thrones.
I'm calling together all the fighters of Zaron. I need to speak with Lady McCormick.
She's not here right now.
I have found a way to get Xbox Ones, and the fair Lady McCormick will want to hear about it.
Xbox One.
I don't know. Carmen said, why did he have a dress on? I don't know what this is all about. I don't really know what's going on. Prince Token. Sir Timmy of Blacklake. Lady McCormick. The next-gen gaming devices are hitting the shelves. But if we all work together, there's a way we can get the new gaming systems. The day after Thanksgiving, the first 30 people inside the mall get 80% off whatever they want. Black Friday.
Black Friday? Come on, that can't be real.
It is real, Craig. I saw it on the news, butthole. Everyone in town tries to be the first inside the mall on Black Friday. What chance do we have? On our own? None. Strategize and fight together. We can be the first people inside on Black Friday. And use the 80% to get the gaming systems we need to survive.
Black Friday is just around the corner.
Ouch.
And people are already gearing up.
We usually start lining up around 3 a.m. We douse ourselves in pig blood because it does help us slip through the crowd when the doors open.
What the f***?
We do it every year, part of the family tradition. Last year we lost our youngest daughter. Her head was stepped on and crushed, but in her memory we're going to find a young girl and step on her head this year.
Whoa.
If anyone thinks they're gonna beat me inside that mall and keep me from getting my kids' Christmas presents, they can kiss my fat vagina, cause I'm bringing the motherfucking pain. Inside that mall and keep me from getting my kids' Christmas presents, they can kiss my fat vagina, cause I'm bringing the motherfucking pain.
Okay, this is pretty cool.
Wizard Carmen! I have news from the internet, my lord.
They don't salute in Game of Thrones, Butters?
Oh, sorry, I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, well, you need to start immediately, please.
That's me.
Ah, very good. The House of Greyhawk has agreed to join our fight. We must still find others who will fight by our side.
You worked on Black Friday?
I did. Is it really as bad as they say it is? The shoppers started showing up at midnight on Thursday. I could see their faces smushed up against the glass, licking their lips, waiting to get in. God, the sounds that they made. People tearing each other's faces off while holiday music played in the background. I saw a woman pick up her daughter by the ankle and swing her into some old guy's head.
What?
Old Cap, he saved us all that day. The front of the mall was covered in red. Bodies. Shopping bags.
Wizard Cartman, I started watching Game of Thrones.
Yes, Paladin Butters. Are you enjoying it?
But have you ever noticed that almost every time they show a guy's wiener, that guy's character is gay? They have a lot of girls' boobs and vaginas and stuff, but most times they show a man's wiener, it's because that guy's in a love scene with another guy.
Is that true?
I believe you might be missing the greater point of the show, Paladin Butters.
Yeah, I know. Winter is coming and there's dragons and zombies on the way. Just could do with a little less gay wieners, all.
We have word from the kindergartners. They've agreed to join us.
Yeah. Those Xbox Ones are as good as ours. Yeah. Wait. What are you talking about, Xbox Ones? I thought we were getting PlayStation 4s.
What? Me too. No, guys, when I said we're going to get the next-gen gaming systems, I was obviously talking about Xboxes.
Yeah.
But I want a PS4, not a crappy Xbox.
Look, guys, we all have to agree on one system.
That's right.
Which camp would you be in? The Xbox camp or the PlayStation camp? I haven't had a gaming console in forever, but if I had to choose between these two, personally, I'm going to be in the PlayStation camp.
This is all about committing to one machine. Right, let's all get PS4s. No, the Xboxes are going to be better. They're not better, they're just more expensive.
We are getting Xbox Ones, guys, and that is final.
That's exactly how Xbox people are. We're still going to fight on Black Friday, just not with you.
Plot thickens.
No, we can't divide like this.
Already.
Stan, you're on our side, right?
I like the PS4's controller better.
The PS4 doesn't have the seamless transition between games, movies, and TV offered by Xbox One.
The PS4 controller has a touchpad interface.
The tear.
You never listened. You just had your head so set because that's how Xbox people are.
Oh no.
Then I guess I'll see you on Black Friday.
Small random detail, I love how Kyle has a spatula and a spoon in his belt, and how Token looks like he has butter knives in his. The little things.
If I see you at the mall, Kyle, I will have to try to beat you inside.
I know.
Come on, Cap. Let these Sony fucks wallow in their limited voice control functionality.
Okay, this is good already.
I took a temp job at the mall. I just wanted to make some extra holiday cash.
Bullshit. You're doing this to try and get to the front of the line on Black Friday, aren't you?
Oh.
Nobody else has thought of it, Sharon. While
That's
everyone
smart,
is trying to run over each other, I'll turn around and run right into the stores.
Isn't Black Friday supposed to be about buying things for other people?
Winter is coming, Sharon. And I'm a sneaky little bee. Buzz buzz.
Thrusters are at 20%, Captain.
Engage, Ensign. Warp factor 1.
Hey guys, what's up?
Nothing much. We're just about to check out a Class M planet that might have new sources of Trillium.
God, these guys are such dorks. Yeah, Big Dong and Prosper. Listen, guys, you're Xbox people, right?
Given the Xbox's faster frame rate, we have no choice but to declare it the most technologically fit for Starfleet.
You still think you can convince Stan to come back to our side, don't you, Sir Cow? You can't change his mind, Sir Cow. Sony people don't think with logic. He betrayed us. And now we must out Game of Thrones him by making powerful alliances.
I keep watching that show and I'm still waiting for the darn dragons to show up and kick everyone's butts. But all I get is wiener, wiener, wiener. When they do show a straight guy's wiener, it's all soft and floppy, even though he just got done humping a pretty girl. Why is that? Because a soft wiener isn't threatening, just like a gay wiener.
Get off the wieners, Butters!
Butters, you seem to be somewhat obsessed with wieners.
I'm obsessed with wieners. What about HBO?
Twitter says they're introducing a new Elmo doll this Christmas. What new Elmo doll?
Who, me?
Just in time for the holidays, it's Stop Touching Me, Elmo. When you press his back, Elmo puts his hand on your knee and says fun things.
Have you ever been tickled on the inside? Stop touching me, Elmo.
Elmo also helps kids brush their teeth with his toothpaste dispenser.
More.
Don't miss out on this holiday season.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You turn Tickle Me Elmo into Stop Touching Me Elmo with real touching pump action.
Don't miss out on this holiday season's biggest gift. Stop Touching Me Elmo. Available at South Park Mall starting Black Friday. They're already lining up.
No, they can't line up this soon. This is crazy. I'll deal with these demons. If you're here for Black Friday, the line starts on that side of the rope. Oh, this rope right here? That's the line for Black Friday so other people can do normal shopping today.
We're back to being normal people.
Thanks.
They're right back to zombies.
Give me Elmo.
Do you side with those wanting Xboxes? Or will you join us on Black Friday and fight for PS4s?
Are you for real?
You know that the PS4 is a better choice. I mean, come on.
Of course we're going to go with the PS4. They're blacker. We're just gonna wait until the PS4s become cheaper and more available.
Yeah.
If you wait it out, but everyone else has already decided to go with Xbox, then that will become the standard. The PS4 would be like Betamax was to VHS.
What's Betamax?
Betamax, a sharper picture.
Exactly.
What's VHS?
The scenery change.
Lady McCormick, I was hoping I could talk to you about Cam. If he were to ever switch sides, it could make Stan's army problematic for us. This is really about you and me getting Xbox Ones. The others are simply there to help us get inside those doors. Do we understand each other?
Always backstab.
Get the hell out of my yard!
Fuck you, dude. This is the Garden of Andros.
It's my damn garden and I'm sick of you kids dressing up and having talks of betrayal in it.
70-inch television. Well, that would be good. Ooh, but 80% off a computer.
Doing all right there, Rookie?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
No, I was just looking at all these great things I can't afford.
You remind me of my son. He died on Black Friday in '89. Guess I'm still trying to save him. I promised my wife this would be the last Black Friday I worked. When I see folks like you, it makes me hopeful that people will still be okay.
The Xbox Army now also has the kids who play Harry Potter, the jocks, the swim team, and the Glee Club.
Word is that the 6th graders all prefer Xbox too, and we'll team up with Cartman as well.
And who do we have on our side?
Good at getting people.
Besides us, it's the book club and Janice Pinkerton. Did you ask the Vamp kids?
I don't know if I'm being dirty-minded or not, but what is the drawing on Stan's helmet supposed to be? Is that supposed to be a goat? Because to me, it kind of looks like a uterus.
We're just a dying breed, Stan. Xbox is going to win this whole thing.
So we're just gonna let other kids decide which game system we all play on. What would they do on Game of Thrones?
On his desk.
Isogashiyo.
Isogashiyo. I'm busy.
Omae chike.
That music again.
Winter is coming.
On his desk.
Isogashiyo.
Isogashiyo. I'm busy.
Omae chike.
That music again.
Winter is coming. Choose side. Nani kore? Just a small town in middle America. A war is escalating.
And if the first people inside their mall all got Xboxes, well, it clearly looks bad for our image.
So desu ne. Sony has just announced they are offering a special Black Friday bundle called the Black Friday Banduru.
This is good stuff, man, because they catch all the little nuances. So in Japanese, there is no true L sound. So for most Japanese people, instead of saying Black Friday bundle, it's gonna come out like Black Friday Banduru.
Which will include 4 controllers, a map of Japan, a $100 rebate, and allow you to automatically pre-order for Metal Gear Solid 5.
That's how you do it, Sony.
Why can't Xbox automatically let you pre-order Metal Gear Solid 5?
I love Metal Gear.
Pre-order doesn't mean shit, okay? When you pre-order a game, you're just committing to paying for something that some assholes in California haven't even finished working on yet. You know what you get for pre-ordering a game? A big dick in your mouth.
The mall's no longer allowing people to line up for Black Friday until Thanksgiving night. To hold places in line, we're handing out wristbands.
Oh no!
Oh God! Oh God! Wristbands! It's the wristbands!
Oh, no.
That's how you are. There'll be no wristbands. Back away!
I'm getting my son that Elmo doll, you fuck!
I knew that was gonna happen to him, though.
You did good. You can't die. Everybody really likes you. This is what we signed up for. I took this job to be at the front of the line on Black Friday. You are in charge now. Take this. Don't let Black Friday
was fake the whole time.
Get back inside. We have work to do.
So silly, man.
We're an army of our own. I can't guarantee you will live, but I can guarantee that before this is over, the winner of the console wars will be decided. To help make sure that system is the PS4. All hail the princess!
Oh, wow. Oh, that's what I hate about trilogies. I can't just watch the first one and then not know what happens in the other two episodes. My curiosity always gets the best of me. So stay tuned for those other two episodes coming very, very soon. But this was another great recommendation. It's got the video game consoles, and they even mentioned Metal Gear, and they have Japanese in it, and a great story that kind of pulls from Game of Thrones. Really funny stuff. If you enjoyed this reaction, please make sure to give this video a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
My frustration inspiration. Aimed at what I created has me feeling discombobulated. I hated the boredom, so I reinstated entertainment for my well-being. Now I'm seeing I made the wrong decision. My project had appeared easy, but had no direction and precision. Beginner's luck. Only up to recent times do I feel stuck. I'm the only one to blame for things that ran amok. I built up a universe that is now building me, you see. Technological advancement is a creator now, and all things to be decided will have not even once touched my hands. My quote-unquote followers still constantly fill the stands on the so-called 7th day. For years it's been this way, but these people can't figure out whether it's the first or last day to pray. They seem to think that I'm forgiving of all, which means they have a scapegoat. If they happen to drop the ball, I've been coined various names, none of which to me are flattering. They look to me for guidance, but to me they do not matter in my eyes. There's nothing I can do to help this situation when they have internal conflicts with their whole congregation. They gather every week and speak of me in song. These beings I created in this project are terribly wrong. You all claim that you know me, but you really don't ever forgive and you say of me. In reality, I really won't. From the day I gave you life to your last anointment, you have all been nothing but divine disappointment. You all claim that you know me, but you really don't ever forgive and you say of me. In reality, I really won't. From the day I gave you life to your last anointment, you have all been nothing but divine disappointment. So now I'm stuck to figure out what I should do at this point in time. These creatures think that there's an afterlife, so they spend their whole life benign. They killed another creature years ago that claimed to be my son, so now they mold their lives after him and claim that he's the one that will save them, lead them to a new breath. I hate to break it to them, I have nothing for you after death. So carry on if you wish, unknowing. Think he breath is wind blowing, magnifying light bulb is a sun, and tears are rivers flowing. Think that every bad thing that happens to you is at my will, like bankruptcy, adultery, and the reason why others kill. Go on and be misled as you have your entire life. Think that I'll somehow reward you for all your pain and strife. I can't control destiny. Where'd you come up with that notion? There's no cure for AIDS, so don't even bother with that potion. I didn't create the disease to punish others, I didn't even make it. So if you have that frame of mind, you go ahead and break it. I'm sick and tired of feeling responsibility for all of you ungratefuls, unwilling to share with the starving while you enjoy all of your platefuls. Even if I had the power to help you, I wouldn't even bother. So stop thinking that I love you and stop calling me your father. I didn't plan on you evolving into this mess with which I deal, asking for my forgiveness when you lie, cheat, and steal. What the hell you want me to do? Try and save yourself. I can't help your marriage, your children, or status of health. My problem's far away, and even so-called devastations, like this oncoming war between the so-called United Nations. I regret making all of you. You make my blood pressure climb. I wish I didn't make you, but even I can't turn back the hands of time. You claim that you know me, but you really don't ever forgive and you say of me. In reality, I really won't. From the day I gave you life to your last anointment, you have all been nothing but divine disappointment. You all claim that you know me, but you really don't ever forgive and you say of me. In reality, I really won't. From the day I gave you life to your last anointment, you have all been nothing but divine disappointment.
Гитара, скажите, что это будет?
Исполним тречок с первого альбома под названием «Ксива». Вот. И тречок с нового альбома под названием «31-й прайд». Все, поехали. Давай, как учили. Во!
Намыли пятку, выдули хапку. Намыли пятку, выдули. Жизнь бьет ключом, хач бьет плечом. Брат, не молчи, со мной кричи. Смотри, это не Гуччи, это из мусорной кучи. Костет перо до плетка, губастая тетка. Ждет тюрьма решетка, мент стреляет метко. Надрывая глотку, курю, читаю, кашляю. В трубку забиваю, курю и забываю. Я дедушкин табак, как вот так. Мистер большие яйца, что будешь делать дальше? Суешь в лицо мне ксиву, как это некрасиво. Мистер большие яйца, что будешь делать дальше? Суешь в лицо мне ксиву. И петь будем, и гулять будем, а смерть придет, помирать будем, мстить будем. И любить будем, за семью, за свою убивать будем. Не кури фуфло, делай добро. Ребята, я с вами, Москва за нами. Респект, АТК, близко атака. Со мною моя Вика, рискую дико. Вась, так держать, Леха, дай 5. Танцы и смех, я помню всех. Идите за кем косяк. Я дам вам знак, эй, пока я на свободе, а значит обребите. Эй, дед, привет, мама, простите, хама, вышла промашка, деньги, бумажка. Горячу не слышно, о, Хари Кришна, бляджа, ганджа, хилая моджа, в кармане лужа, нам мент не нужен. Снимайте пенки, дрожат коленки, я парень русский, в натуре жесткий, могу быть сладкий, как пряник тульский. Не надо париться, мистер большие яйца, что будешь делать дальше? Не надо фальши, не надо грязи, из 3 2 мрази. Вася заразен, обман опасен. 2, 2, 4, обыск в квартире, нычка в сортире, братки в эфире, эй, улыбки шире. Сидим в траншее, в руках винтовка, а вроде трубка. Удар по яйцам ногой дяде не нравится. Моя красавица добить гады стесняется. Я не смирился с его напором. Отняли ксиву, пацаны сравнялись с полом. На нем галопом, да по ухабам. Эй, привет всем папам, цветы всем мамам, братьям здоровья, сестрам коровье. Еще раз, мама, простите, хама. Эй, мистер большие яйца, что будешь делать дальше? Суешь в лицо мне ксиву, как это некрасиво. Мистер большие яйца, что будешь делать дальше? Суешь в лицо мне ксиву. Мистер большие яйца, что будешь делать дальше? Суешь в лицо мне ксиву. Мистер большие яйца, что будешь делать дальше? Суешь в лицо мне ксиву. И качаем все.
Светит выгоды, петли кредиторы, свары и своры. Доставить надо, но не положили приборы. Хоккей с плечом, шутеры, скорые. Кинь, гол, красный, черный. И не расслабляйся даже, когда долго в теме. Тем более, когда долго в теме. Поджог ними, сделан в Китае. Продан за рубль, не идет за канай. Селедка под шубой.
Полощика ты, цик любишь ты, на самоті по підтахом і криком лунає суго. Я сказаляю, усмішкою боляче силою на вуста. Це навіть крокуючи в прірву, ти все ще тримаєш мене за руку.
When are you going to realize that your specific person is absolutely obsessed with you? They've been obsessed with you, they're obsessed with you right now, and they're always going to be obsessed with you. And the actual only reason that you are not able to see this in your reality because your specific person is literally begging to be with you at this current moment, but the only reason you may not be able to see it is because you are assuming it differently or labeling your reality in a way that does not align with what you want. Now, labeling is when you make a statement on your reality in accordance to what you feel is true. And this is actually something which is an extreme form of something called all or nothing thinking. So all or nothing thinking is a way in which our mind works to keep us in the same place and in the same state over and over and over again. So if you find yourself unable to manifest your specific person overnight, right now, in a week, or in the amount of time that you feel you want to, all or nothing thinking is probably the cause. And all or nothing thinking means if we don't have everything that we want, then we have nothing. Meaning if we aren't perfectly married to our specific person right now, then we are a failure. But you will see in manifestation, it always comes in a bridge of events, meaning you will be always on the path of being from where you are to going to where you want to go. And thus, an aspect of all or nothing thinking is just going to work against this, because then you will be perceiving and receiving amazing results with your specific person, but you're going to completely dismiss it because it's not already what you would desire. And I'll tell you exactly how to have your specific person show up in the way that you want. But the first effect is understanding that all or nothing thinking is probably impacting the way of your thoughts. Meaning we can't actually identify as being someone who is successful if we are pushing against this mentally within our mind. Meaning if you feel like a failure because you and your specific person are not married, or you and your specific person are not in a relationship, or not going on a date, or they're not texting you, then you're going to dismiss the success that you're having right here and right now, then you will thus not feel like a successful person or a loved individual, and thus you're accidentally manifesting the opposite. But like I mentioned, an extreme form of this all or nothing thinking is something called labeling. So let me give an example towards you, and which you do probably at yourself, because we all do this at some time or another, and then I'll explain how we accidentally do this with our specific person. So labeling means we are labeling someone's character, which includes ourselves, as something either positive or negative, regardless of what we are doing. So we take a behavior, so let's say we've made a mistake. So instead of saying, I have made a mistake, we label ourselves as I am a failure, when in reality, you're not a failure. You're just seeing in your reality something that is a bridge of events leading to a success. So the way in which we accidentally do this with our specific person is when they are not texting us, instead of thinking, oh, they're busy, they're at work, or they're thinking of the perfect text to send us, we assume that they just don't like us, or they are not in communication with us, or that's just who they are. For example, when your specific person has maybe taken a little bit of time to text you or respond to you in the past, do you label them as a bad communicator rather than someone who in this moment just isn't communicating in the way you want? And I know it sounds kind of funny to still think of our specific person as someone who in this moment might not be communicating, but the trick is you keep that label of assumption or belief on them in the positive, and that's actually how they're going to show up, because the way you label your reality is going to be your beliefs and assumptions. If you are labeling yourself as a failure, that is what's going to manifest, rather than saying, oh, I have made a mistake. But remember, in the same way of reframing, we can make everything positive. Your reality, like I said, your specific person is already obsessed with you, and I'm just wondering why or when you are going to see it for yourself. And so the only way we're not able to see this is because we're making or labeling our reality in a negative way. In the same way, I've coached a lot of people who label themselves in the negative, saying, I'm depressed, I have OCD, I have ADHD. And yes, we may be feeling as if we are creating those ideas or symptoms, but remember, everything can work out in your favor. And I think I've talked about this before, but imagine having OCD or ADHD. It means your mind is running a little more wild than normal, meaning you have a greater creative energy and a greater amount of energy within you just in general, and are able to create and manifest what you want much faster, right? You could take anything that you seemingly feel is working against you and create it into a positive just by working on its benefits and labeling yourself in the positive rather than labeling yourself in the negative. But the main point of this whole manifestation, because that in itself will be very, very positive, but you just have to remember, we are doing this with our specific person all the time, and that's exactly how they're showing up. For example, let me give you a quote that explains this. Neville Goddard wrote, to change your world, you must first change your conception of it. To change a man, you must change your conception of him. You must first believe him to be the man you want him to be, and mentally talk to him as though he were. All men are sufficiently sensitive to reproduce your beliefs of them. So no matter who it is, no matter who the individual is, your specific person or anyone, even yourself, if you make an assumption on someone, they already have the ability to reproduce it, and that is going to be the thing and the ways in which they act in your reality from here on out. So again, think of the labeling idea. However you are labeling something is going to be the way in which it shows up. End of story. And don't worry if you think someone is incapable of this, because again, it's just the label. If you think your specific person is bad at communication, look at the end of that quote by Neville Goddard. He wrote, all men are sufficiently sensitive to reproduce your beliefs of them. Your specific person has within them the ability to be in communication, to love you, to care for you, to be obsessed with you. And I would actually argue they are already that way, but we are labeling in the opposite and completely missing it. And this also goes into another quote from A Course in Miracles, in which they wrote, "Those who call truly are always answered. Thou shalt have no other gods before him, because there are none." The God in this statement, in which it's referring to, is your assumptions. So in this reality, if you are not giving or praying or asking truly of the God, which is your subconscious mind, then you're not going to experience or see what you desire in your external reality, because there is no other God to pray to. There is nothing else that can actually change the assumption or your specific person in the way they're showing up, except your subconscious mind and the way in which you are viewing it. I know we try to do other things. We try to go in our reality and act it out. We try to convince our specific person to act in a certain way, but that's not going to create the outcome in which we want. The only way in which we do this is impressing our subconscious mind. And I know our ego is not going to like this, right? Our ego is going to say, no, they are acting in this negative way, and that's just how or who they are. But we would have to actually ask ourselves, how is this actually going to create the outcome that we desire? How are we going to become better by thinking upon this or dwelling upon this? When does your reality ever become better? By focusing on why your specific person is working against you, or why your reality is working against you, or why your specific person doesn't want to be with you, right? That never occurs. And if you are truly honest with yourself, every time you focus or contemplate any assumption like that, you see more of it in your reality. When you have labeled your specific person as someone who doesn't communicate or doesn't love you, you've seen just that in your reality. And I would imagine, or I would actually press that the same has been the positive and the opposite. I guarantee you there's been a time in which you imagined or labeled your specific person as something positive, or someone who always reaches out to you, loves you, and obsesses over you. And I'm sure you've experienced and seen those positive movements just as easily as you have experienced the negatives. But it is our ego and our consciousness that thinks there is a true reality outside of our assumption, but there is not. Your ego thinks there is a truth, an objective truth on your reality or what you're experiencing, and that you could think, oh, well, I can think positive of my specific person all day, but they're just a specific way. They are just this way. And that label is the only thing and way in which it could show up, because you basically make or create it by your assumptions. Even in a logical way, if you think of your specific person texting, if you have the assumption or label that they don't like you, then when they take an extra 5 minutes to text you back, you're going to make that into something negative, when in reality, your positive mindset or your true mindset, when you see reality as truthfully as possible and that your specific person is already obsessed with you, then you will notice the extra 5 minutes was actually them thinking of or trying to create the perfect message for you, because they care about you and they love you so much. And I know that way seems very simple, but your entire reality will begin to shift and alter and change as you begin to label it as something different. So not only label yourself and see yourself as the way you want, because your ego, your reality, your sense of self is truly tangible and moldable into anything, as well as your specific person, because everything is just a reflection of who you are. So take the focus and put it on yourself. That's the true creator in your reality, and you are going to see a difference. If you did have any questions on this, make sure to comment them in the comment section below. And remember, you can also reach out to me personally on my website at kyleaugustcoaching.com. Thank you so much for stopping by today, and I can't wait to see you in my next video tomorrow.
This is very intimate.
This is very intimate, yes, because it's a date.
I can feel it.
The tension, the sexual chemistry.
It's there.
Or maybe it's just the smell of chicken that's throwing you off. Are you a romantic person?
I consider myself to be very romantic.
In what way?
I like to surprise my date. And
so this gets me every time. I just think it's so unnecessary that there's 3 nozzles. It's creepy, isn't it?
It really
is creepy. What do you think is the best compliment that you can give someone? Cheers.
Cheers. So nice to. God, you gotta have some.
I don't want to do it now.
Why?
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it. What is wrong with you?
What do you think about when you need to get into the zone when you're acting?
Death.
I don't want to do it.
Because you're crying.
I'm crying.
Why are you crying?
Is this turning you on?
No.
Cheers.
Cheers. So nice to. God, you gotta have some.
I don't want to do it now.
Why?
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do
that I like them.
That's pretty good.
I don't like anyone, so I like you.
Oh, thanks. Wow.
I like you so much that I flew into London to see you.
I think you're becoming obsessed with me.
I am a little bit.
And I think you need to relax. But that's okay.
This is my only chance, so...
I know, you're never going to see me ever again. I'm like, gone with the wind.
It'll be hard to catch you next time.
So. No, I appreciate that. Thank you for flying in to see me. Most people do. So how often are you getting a love hangover? Every weekend? Or is it...
Every other weekend.
Every other weekend, okay, cool. Hangovers are the worst.
I don't enjoy hangovers.
No.
But you still do it again.
Yeah.
Knowing that the hangover is going to be there.
Because it's kind of like the high is worth the low. But then I think it gets to a point where you decide that you're going to be sober. Do you believe in fate?
I do. It's less now, but I used to be a fate person. But fate has disappointed me, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
But now I'm back to I can decide my own fate. So let me be friends with fate again.
Also, maybe it's like if whatever you wanted for yourself didn't happen for you, maybe it wasn't meant for you.
I've learned it over lessons.
God, we're getting very philosophical today. I like someone where you can just talk about anything, really. Cats or dogs?
Dogs, because I'm a cat.
I've never really had any pets apart from a hamster. Have you ever had a hamster?
I currently have a hamster.
You have a hamster?
I do have a hamster.
What? Is the hamster here?
Unfortunately not.
What's the hamster called?
Baddie.
She's a baddie?
Yeah, I had to name her Baddie.
She just sort of like posting thirst traps the whole time?
She basically just runs on the wheels all day.
What made you want to get a hamster?
Companionship.
Oh yeah, they're really known for being great companions, aren't they, hamsters? How long do you think it would take for someone to really learn how to dance, like fully?
A good 3 years to begin with.
3 years? I was thinking 2 weeks tops. Could you ever date someone who had no rhythm?
Rhythm is so important for
Everything.
Everything.
And you don't want to date someone who's so stiff.
Mm-hmm.
No thanks.
No.
What's the difference between a sexy guy and a cute guy?
I don't like cute guys.
I know, that's why I asked.
Sexy guys don't know that they're sexy, but cute guys know that they're cute.
I'm still not sure what I like, whether it's cute, sexy, or arrogant.
Is arrogant one of your...
I need to change my type. How long can you last in the cold plunge?
About 5 minutes.
Doesn't seem like that long.
Have you been in?
Yeah, all the time, and
really.
And actually, I do about an hour.
Maybe you're expert. At...
An hour and a half sometimes, actually.
Can you give me any tips so I can
Got
last?
gloves.
The gloves
and socks.
I've only done socks. Maybe it was the gloves.
I think the glove situation is really holding you back from the full hour experience in the cold plunge.
Okay.
It just makes you feel alive, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Having a crush on someone makes me feel alive.
I haven't been on a date in a very long time, so this is
exhilarating. What's your favorite kind of food?
Favorite kind of food is when somebody else picks the food and I eat it and it's good.
Oh, I really like that. I'm going to steal that answer. Do you like British food?
What is British food?
Good question. That's a really good question. Sausage and mash?
Sausage and mash.
Yeah.
Potato?
Toad in the hole?
Ooh, what's that one?
I actually don't know. I think it has something to do with... Sausage again.
I think a lot of British food have something to do with sausages.
Yes, it's true, actually. I do love a sausage.
Do you?
Just a medium-sized one. Do you believe in love at first sight?
That's been my life.
You've actually fallen in love at first sight?
Mm-hmm.
God.
I know instantly whether it's gonna work or not.
When you know, you know. Sunglasses inside, yes or no?
I can't say no because I do it sometimes, but I don't like to see other people with it, so...
Okay, right. It's okay if it's you.
I don't know how to flirt.
I feel like you've got a very great energy. I feel like lots of people would come over to you and start chatting to you. Maybe you don't even have to talk to them.
I mean, kind of.
You're like, yeah.
I think I flirt with my face.
Would you rather spend the day with a puppy or a capybara?
Capybara all day. To being
I'm sure you know it's coming.
Yes.
But as her friend and sister, and then you get on the stage together, I'm sure some of that that's what the chemistry and the energy and also having somebody that's that close to you that's that good.
Yes. I mean, that's how we grow.
Naturally, but also work ethic, driven and work ethic. That has to.
Yes.
I mean, you're driven too, but I'm just saying. That energy.
Hers is different.
It's different, right?
It's different. It's like another whole beast. And it's so funny because her being that focused in that space made me come up in another space that I'm just as excited about in. So I'm like, oh, I have to pay attention to that much detail. I'll watch the way she works. It's so incredibly intricate.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you're born with. You either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
And it's a really dope focus, and it's one of the many reasons that makes her so fucking dope.
Yes, but what makes you so fucking dope, and I think what makes people fall in love with you is watching you guys as kids.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're standing next to someone that has that type of drive and that type of work ethic and it's that bright, not many people could be as comfortable and secure and have their own light as gracefully as you have done.
Thank you.
You have to know that, right? People have said that to you.
I've never heard it like that, and that is the biggest compliment, and I really appreciate it. And I'm finally comfortable and confident in that light. And I think before, as a kid, that's why I'm thanking you for that compliment, because before, as a kid, I think that sometimes you feel like maybe I should, you know what I mean, sink a little, but you don't ever sink for anybody. You stand straight, you put your head and face forward, and you know exactly what you bring to the table. Because when you do, everybody else gets to the light is bigger, the shine is bigger. You guys look better together.
Okay, let's talk Calandria Rowland. The Kelly Rowland. Now, Kelly's career has been one of undeniable talent, yet it's often been framed by comparison rather than individual recognition. From her childhood, she's found herself in spaces where she was loved, but not always centered. Moving in with Beyonce's family as a young girl and finding a maternal figure in Tina Knowles and a father figure from Matthew Knowles, but never quite having the father figure of her own. As Destiny's Child's second lead vocalist, she was an essential part of one of the biggest girl groups of all time, but the spotlight was rarely hers alone. And in her solo career, despite proving her ability to craft R&B hits and even global dance anthems, there has always been a lingering feeling that she could have been bigger. Now, I'm not saying Kelly's not big, but it does look like she holds herself back. If she only had better industry direction or fully stepped into her own confidence, Kelly's story isn't one of failure. She's had honestly an amazing career, but it is a story of living in the shadow of greatness while struggling to fully step into her own. Despite her talents and success, there's always been the question of whether her own doubts held her back. Did Kelly ever truly believe that she could have been the star? Or was she used to playing the second and that she never pushed to be the first? The industry didn't always give her the right direction, but at times it seemed like she wasn't sure how to claim it either. Kelly had everything she needed to dominate, but the confidence and the conviction are just as crucial as the talent. And that may have been the missing piece. Kelly's life has always been rocky. Her mom left her father when Kelly was 7 because of abuse. In turn, Kelly's relationship with her mother Doris was complicated and strained, especially during Kelly's childhood. Doris struggled with mental health issues, including depression, which made it difficult for her to provide the emotional support that Kelly needed. Growing up, Kelly faced emotional hardships that shaped her insecurities. Her mother, Doris, struggled with alcoholism, which led to periods of homelessness for the family. This unstable environment left a deep emotional mark on Kelly, as she often had to navigate both financial difficulties and emotional strain of her mother's battles. These challenges contributed to Kelly's early insecurities and self-doubt. Kelly's former voice coach, David Lee Brewer, said that she would often be brutal on herself during auditions, a reflection of her self-criticism and not fully having the confidence within herself to trust her own voice. This tendency to be hard on herself, coupled with the emotional turbulence of her childhood, likely fueled her sensitivity and timidness in both her personal and professional settings. In interviews, Kelly would often open up about the pain of feeling emotionally neglected, acknowledging that her mother's struggles created a turbulent home environment. This led Kelly to seek stability elsewhere. When Kelly was around 12 years old, she moved in with Beyonce's family, which provided a sense of refuge. The Knowles family, particularly Tina, was really like a second mom to Kelly. Kelly often calls Tina Mama T. This move allowed Kelly to experience the care and emotional support she had been missing. And it was during the time that her bond with Beyonce grew even stronger. Beyonce's family offered Kelly the stability she needed to thrive, both personally and professionally, and became a crucial support system for her during a challenging time. However, even with their love and care, the dynamics within Destiny's Child, especially with Beyonce as the lead singer, brought a different kind of complexity. While Kelly grew closer to the Knowles family, it's only natural that she would still feel a sense of emptiness. Yes, Beyonce's family became like her own, but Kelly's biological family, especially her mother, was never fully present. The absence of her own family, coupled with the pressure of being a part of Destiny's Child, left Kelly grappling with feelings of loneliness and a sense of displacement, even within the supportive environment she had found. From the beginning, Beyonce was positioned as the undeniable star of Destiny's Child, whether it was from her father, Matthew Knowles, managing the group's direction, or the way their songs were structured. The spotlight was always centered on her. She was the lead vocalist, and the one who stood in the middle during performances, the member who got the most screen time in music videos. The media and the fans quickly picked up on this dynamic, often referring to Beyonce as the favorite, while Kelly and the other members were more so background singers rather than equally important parts of the group. That's why we have the term being the Beyonce of the group.
I'm good. Thank you. Thank you.
Just yours.
All right.
Cheers.
You do. Thank you. Nice to meet you.
This narrative was constantly reinforced in interviews where journalists would direct most of the questions toward Beyonce, sometimes ignoring the other members entirely. Even Beyonce herself grew visibly frustrated with how the media framed the group.
Beyonce, you sound really like kind of hostile about this. I mean, has this been this whole the rumors and stuff? Has this really irritated you?
Yeah. It's really old. We're kind of off of that now. We sold 6 million records since then. We don't really discuss any of that. The old rumors and all that stuff. They died down. We're just happy now that we were able to move on with the 2 new members and we were still successful.
But it's clear that the group is Beyonce and the girls, so why don't you just go solo? No disrespect to the other girls, but we see how things are shaping up. You guys are on TV, the camera stays on you. You get the hottest Dior, they get your leftovers, and that's a compliment to you. Why don't you just go solo?
Well, I don't think that the group is Beyonce and the girls, and I definitely don't get the hottest looks, and the cameras definitely don't stay on me.
Oh, come on.
I sing the lead, and like in SWV and in any other group, when someone sings the lead, then the camera is on them because they're singing the majority of the song. And I could have very well gone solo.
Right.
Because of my loyalty to the fans and because of my love for Kelly. That's something that I don't want to do and I wasn't ready to do.
Because I had heard at one point that you all, Destiny's Beyonce and the girls, that you all weren't allowed to perform and do a lot of stuff.
Can you please not call us Beyonce and the girls?
I have to.
That is definitely an insult to Kelly and Michelle.
No, I like them, but the attention stays on you. It does.
I don't think the attention stays on her, Wendy. I do think the fact that as a lead singer, well, like she said, when you look at any group, then of course, it's based on ability. And you can't even sit up here and say Beyonce and the girls.
Beyonce was favored. Given that she is rising now as a star, when you look back, were they in some ways right?
Can I keep it real with you? These are 3 very secure women that you are looking at right now. And the reason why we're still here is because we're secure and we love each other and we support each other. Anything else does not fit.
Moments like this highlights how Kelly was aware of the perception that she was playing the second fiddle. Despite Beyonce's attempts to downplay the favoritism, never putting herself above her members, the imbalance was obvious, and it had to have affected Kelly in some way, shape, or form. As an original member who had been there for the very start, Kelly was just as much as part of the group's success, yet the constant comparisons and lack of attention likely reinforced feelings of being second best. She was immensely talented, with a strong voice and stage presence, but the industry, the fans, and even Destiny's Child's own branding made it clear that Beyonce was a star. This kind of dynamic can easily take a toll on someone's confidence, especially when they're already battling personal insecurities. For Kelly, it wasn't just about being in a successful girl group, it was about constantly feeling overshadowed, even when she had the talent and work ethic to shine just as brightly. Kelly, as flawless and beautiful as she is, has admitted that when it came to her skin color, she had to truly learn to love her complexion. She didn't even know what colorism was until Tina told her about it, and Tina, being the amazing woman she is, told Kelly that she was gorgeous beyond measure.
Do you remember the first time you heard the thing that you are referring to as colorism?
The first time I had a little boo friend, actually his grandmother compared me to the color of a paper bag and said that I was too dark chocolate for him and he couldn't date me. And I said, what the hell? I literally was like, what does that mean? And I came home and I talked to my mama T about it. And she said, that's a definition of colorism. And I was like, well, what is, you know what I mean? It was like that moment.
Okay.
It affected me in a way where I was just always uncertain of how I looked. It started to define what beauty was to me.
Okay.
In the entertainment business, it manifested itself in constant comparisons. When it came to like my skin color, I was hearing everything left and right. Well, you know, she's darker, or she's the darkest one in the group, or she's a really chocolate one. I would always hear that.
Was there ever a time where you thought, maybe I should try a bleaching cream?
I never actually thought to myself, I want to do a bleaching cream, as much as it was, I just want to be Mariah Shade. Because that was who I looking up to.
She was gorgeous.
She's gorgeous. Yeah. You're dancing around in fields with I was like, life looks beautiful.
But we can all agree that Kelly is absolutely stunning. Like, do you know how pretty you have to be to rock a pixie cut? A pixie cut. To me, that's like the elite pinnacle of beauty because you're serving straight face. To wear a pixie cut, you have to be a unique type of beauty. Sorry, not sorry, because even the prettiest girls can't make it work. You have pixie cut Kelly, red bob Kelly, but Kelly in her middle part bust down curly. Now that's a look.
This is a man's world. This is a man's world.
So good. Hi. There are my vocal essentials. Grathis pastilles for throat and voice. Hydrates your throat. So I like to just have good and I'm feeling super effect around my diary.